Moving on to a third straight divisional matchup. Maybe, I mean, the stakes are there, but in terms of the curb appeal, if you will, not anywhere near some of these other games. This is going to be a tough one to watch. Pittsburgh heading to Baltimore. The Ravens -5.5. The over-under sits at 43. Pittsburgh plus 230 on the money line. Baltimore -280. Raider Jim, I'll give this one to you first. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, big AFC North matchup. Uh-oh. Might have lost Raider Jim one more time. I believe so. All right. So I'll get this one started as hopefully we wait for Raider Jim to pop back in. Look, my notes I have down right here, just kind of thinking nostalgically as how good this rivalry must have been or used to be, or at least in terms of can't miss TV. Now it seems like unless this is, a Thursday night and I'm, really jonesing for football, I'm definitely not going to be checking this one out. It's very, very difficult to see how this will go when you have two teams, Pittsburgh, who was so bad last week, and Baltimore, who it seems like flip a coin. Raider Jim is back, it looks like. Yes. Can you hear me, Mr. Martinez?
I'm making every effort.
Yes.
I can. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. No problem. But it seems like Baltimore is a flip of a coin, whether or not we are going to see this team perform to, the levels that we did when Lamar first came back. And then Thursday night or, Thanksgiving night, we all expected, okay, they're going to hold serve. Joe Burrow's going to be rusty. And all of a sudden, the Bengals just kind of boat raced them in that one. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, two teams that I just don't think are very good. Raider Jim brought up the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Here he comes. They are still very much in the hunt, but only in the hunt for the AFC North. This might be a game, if you want to get crazy, maybe take a tie. I could see this game being like a 6-6 tie. It just seems like that just has it written down, being a little tongue-in-cheek there. I'll just take the points. Two teams that I just don't trust either way. Give me Pittsburgh plus 5.5 and under 43. I don't see how either of these offenses get there. I haven't seen enough from Lamar Jackson since he's come back to make me believe that he is going to push this number over. And same thing with Pittsburgh, their offense. And I have to imagine, as Raider Jim kind of talked about, I know the weather back east is going to be very cold at the very least. So 43, I think, is a high number for these offenses. And I have my final thought here. The AFC North should be shot into the moon. No one deserves a playoff spot. But Raider Jim, your thoughts, Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
Yeah, this is just not the same Pittsburgh team that we got used to seeing, for so many decades, so many years. And even before Aaron Rodgers showed up, it was iffy at quarterback at times, but still they were the Steelers, and the defense got out there, and you always knew the defense was going to get after it. The defense is now 28th in the league, and that is not, my goodness, that makes the Joe Greens and the LC Greenwoods of the world just look and go, what happened? Kind of like Howie Long must look out there at the Raiders and go, what happened? And Baltimore, on the other side of that, as you said, Baltimore's not that much better. Obviously not. Both of these teams are 6-6 right now, with Joe Burrow sitting in the background going, you guys didn't run away, and you should have, because I'm going to catch you. And I really do believe that that's a very good chance that he's going to. Before I get to my question for you, I will tell you that when I look at this one, I see Baltimore winning. I think the Pittsburgh defense is just not good enough to even stop a subpar Lamar Jackson. So I'll take Baltimore at the line 5.5, but I'm going to go under because it's also supposed to rain in Baltimore, wherever they're playing. And if that's going to be a muddy, mucky field, there's not going to be a lot of scoring going on. Question to you is, are Lamar Jackson's best days behind him?
I feel like we have this conversation at least once a year, and not us, but just overall
yes.
Yeah, it seems like once a year or once a season, I should say, we have these, maybe outside of his MVP years, which I mean he's won two of them, I believe. I don't know. I don't want to say yes, but also at the same time, what Lamar Jackson is so good at doing will go before anything else. The legs, the mobility will go before the arms, before the
Yep.
mind, before the progressions. That's the first thing that's going to go. So, it kind of reminds me a bit of pitchers in baseball. I think back to Trevor Hoffman. Okay, he in his heyday, in his prime, he's throwing 97. Well, guess what? He pitched till he was maybe in his 40s, deep into his 30s. And by the time he was retired, he was throwing that fastball in there at 80, 89. But his changeup was dropping down to 80. So he was able to adjust because the velocity was gone. So, kind of obviously apples to oranges, but I think for Lamar, at the very least, this is a moment for him to look around and go, hey, if I want to play for another 5 to 10 years at a high level, I'm going to need to evolve my game beyond relying on my legs. That's just my thought on it. I'm not ready to pull the plug on Lamar because it does seem like we do that sometimes. And the next week, it's like, oh my gosh, there he is. There's the Lamar from Louisville or the Lamar from the MVP type seasons. And who knows, maybe this is the defense to do it against, although the weather doesn't sound like that's going to cooperate. But definitely this is the defense to do it against. But